Hey folks, Mike here with the Long Shot. Today we're going to do a rifle build. It's become so much easier to build your own rifles at home with Remington 700 footprinted actions, pre-fit barrels that have really good head spacing out of the box, and drop-in chassis and stocks. So let's look at the process at a high level. It's a snow day here, wonderful day to be in the shop talking through your own build. Let's go. All right, so again, we got a snowy day here in Western North Carolina. We don't like snow in the South, so mostly inside. Came in to clean the shop today. Look at that. Oh boy, sorry about the messy shop. Came in to clean the shop, decided be a lot more fun to build a rifle, and that's why I'll always have a messy shop. One cool thing, all those boxes in the background, man, it's really hard to throw out a good box, isn't it? Is that how I know I'm getting older? We're expanding the store to carry a full line of precision rifle products that you need. So go ahead and check out longshottactical.tv. We have only products there that we personally use and test heavily and put our competition shooting reputation online. I'm not sure if shooting reputation really matters, but anyways, sounded cool. All right, so what we're doing today is showing how easy it is to make your own. Man, YouTube's really not gonna like this, are they? To build, we're not modifying anything, we're assembling, which is supposed to be good with YouTube rules. Our own sniper rifle. This is going to be my 6.5 Creedmoor, like team sniper field match type build. Cue the 243 is all you need, 308 Winchester is all you need, comment 6.5 needs more stinks. I love the 6.5 Creedmoor, don't care what you say about it. Especially for team sniper or unknown distance style matches, 6.5 Creedmoor math, if you load appropriately, is really great in a pinch. Go back, check some of my other 6.5 Creedmoor videos where we do some shooting just with the math out to 700 yards. 6.5 Creedmoor math is like a speed drop methodology, using the distance, doing some quick and easy math, even for us smooth brains, to figure out what your mill hold is for elevation. All right, so we have an American rifle company, Coup de Grace action here. Really love these guys, top quality actions. That's what MPA uses to build their actions. Everybody knows those are quality production rifles, kind of floating in that semi-custom line. The ARC, American Rifle Company, Coup de Grace. Also, the price point is amazing on these for high quality custom actions built in America. Really love it. Look at that bolt fluting. Super sexy there. Love it. And we're using a proof pre-fit competition contour. This is a pretty heavy barrel, about 6 pounds. Got a little paper over here because we're going to put that in our barrel action, or our barrel vise, and we don't want to mar the finish. Got some anti-seize grease on here. That we're going to use our American Rifle Company action wrench to torque onto the barrel, and that's the first step. After that, putting a trigger on, dropping it in a chassis. I have an MDT ESS chassis that is one of my favorites that we are putting this into, and it's going to be a pretty sweet build. All right, so before we get into the build itself, why do you want to do this? Why don't you just go to Gunsmith? Well, first of all, a lot of custom action companies are building a Remington 700 footprint, which means you can buy any stock, any pre-fit barrel listed for Remington 700 footprint, and you should be good to go. So it makes everything super modular, gets you a quality pre-fit barrel. I use Proof. They give military discounts through Expert Voice, so go check it out. I believe that's through Evolved Ballistics in Texas, so appreciate those guys helping to provide these barrels to the military community at a solid discount. You're gonna wait a little bit, but order a couple for the year, and when you shoot your barrel out, the best thing and my favorite thing about being able to do this in your own garage with a couple $100 of tools is that in a competition season you can swap your barrel out on your own. Now there are a couple considerations. You need a torque wrench, so we have the barrel fixed in a barrel vise, which is screwed to my table here in the workshop, and we're actually going to spin and torque the action onto it. Again, highly recommend an approved type of anti-seize grease so that you can eventually get this barrel off, but it's that simple. Once you get the action screwed on, then you're going to put it in your favorite stock or chassis, and you need go and no-go gauges, headspace gauges, to make sure that head spacing is perfect and within SAAMI specs, so that you're not going to have any issues or potentially unsafe condition. So we got the action with the bolt removed and the action wrench inside. Now these ARC Coup de Grace action wrenches are pretty cool. They come with a set screw that goes into the action screw. So this is like one of the two screws where your chassis or stock will screw into your action. And that makes sure this doesn't slip out. You got to be really careful, because if it slips out and you're torquing this down, you could potentially damage the internals of the action. And with this puppy being, $1,000, you definitely don't want to do that. All right, so as we get prepped here, you're probably wondering why the heck my barrel's sticking out this far. Well, this is a competition contour, so it's like 1¼ inches here with a very slight taper. It's a very heavy barrel. The reason I like these types of barrels is because you don't have to do much to balance or weight your entire rig after you get it done. When you use a thin pencil barrel, you may be limited with threads up at the front of the muzzle for your muzzle device, or you may just not have enough weight centered over where your rest and balance point is when you're doing positional shooting. So starting with a heavy contour barrel, again, not a hunting rifle, you want to go thinner, save some weight there, but starting with a heavy contour barrel is a good idea for competition style, you know, race guns, it just range toys, things like that. It's going to give you a lot of weight in the right place so that you are not getting pushed off target too much. You're able to balance, get stable positions. So why is it this far out? Well, that's because of how fat the contour is and how the barrel vise is shaped. But guys, it doesn't really matter. All you need to do is torque this down as much as you can get it. Then you should be able to apply torque at this end on the action wrench with your torque wrench. Depending on what action you're using, they'll have different torque specs. You know, like AR-15s are like usually 80 foot-pounds max. But we're going to go, I think, a little bit more here, around 100 foot-pounds. So we're going to spin that on. Before I've done this, I've also really cleaned the threads and the action. It came with a lot of shipping grease, and you want to get that stuff off, clean the threads, and then reapply whatever type of anti-seize lube grease that you're using for the build. And now that we got that set, we're going to go ahead and carefully torque this down. Now what I'm looking for is just to make sure that my barrel is not slipping within the vise, which it can because I got paper here, and we're going to apply high torque. I'm going to stabilize here and slowly apply pressure. All right, we hit our torque there. Should be good to go. One of the small downsides of doing this pre-fit method is that sometimes, now I actually haven't had this issue, and Proof kind of engraves circular, not parallel with the barrel. Sometimes the engraving is not going to match up, so when you have it mounted in your chassis, it's going to read right there. I care about performance, really don't care if the laser engraving on the barrel lines up perfectly. Care about headspace. All right, so we're over here at my gun vise station. So we're going to throw it in a chassis. Forgot a critical component. Trigger. I love these Trigger Tech diamonds. They go on every rifle I build unless somebody requests otherwise. I've had wonderful experience with them. Out of the dozens that I've used, had an issue with one, sent it back to Trigger Tech. They sent out a new one, no questions asked. So awesome customer service, top quality triggers in my opinion. So your action usually comes with trigger screws pre-installed here, so we're just going to remove those, pop this trigger in, and torque them down to spec. And one thing I didn't really clarify is that the screws don't go in the trigger itself, but, oops. This housing, try not to lose these, this housing comes on the action and has those trigger pins there, so we're going to pop those out. Oh, I did almost lose it. So we're going to pop or slide those trigger pins out, slide them back in the holes here on the trigger, fit it on top, and then this housing is actually what screws in. And I dropped one into the nether. Awesome. Okay, so we got the trigger nestled in that little housing there. And now we can push those pins in. And now we can put our trigger housing screws back on. Now when you're doing this, it's important to torque everything down to spec so that you don't have anything back out early or be loose. For this, the American Rifle Company ARC Action has a full specifications listed on their website, so you can see, you know, the trigger screws, action screws, everything else, what they should be torqued to. And for my smaller, like inch-pounds type torque wrench stuff, I've been using this Wheeler fat wrench for a long time. Same thing I mount my scopes with. Sometimes I feel wild and use my fix-it sticks, but this is a nice traditional style where you twist the bottom and then, you know, it basically slip clicks once you're at your specified inch-pounds torque rating. All right, now that we got the barreled action completed, we are going to go ahead and install it on this MDT ESS chassis. Look how sweet this thing looks. It's one of my favorite products from MDT. For this, comes in multiple pieces and configurations. This is like a full 4-end with like night vision bridge on top. I like the way it looks. And again, the next awesome thing about these at-home builds is this just drops on and you got 2 action screws that you want to torque down into the action. Usually, as far as action screws go, you're going to have one short and one long. But when you buy an upgraded chassis, it will come with the action screws you need to fit the action footprint that you bought it for. Long one usually goes back behind the trigger. Short one usually goes in front of the trigger under the handguard. But again, depends on what chassis, what action you're using. All right, guys, now we have the base chassis. Gonna go ahead and slap the fore end on. We're getting there, and this is pretty close to real time. Not taking me hours as I cut the video for your viewing pleasure. Oh yeah, tight fit. All right, I was worried this chassis wouldn't accept this fat contour barrel, but once we got it in there, pretty confident we are going to be free floated. Last piece, slap the bolt in, and we're going to do our headspace check. Got our bolt in, nice and smooth. Oh yeah. All right, folks, well, obviously I'm in a different outfit. We're on a different day here. I had to track down my go and no-go gauges for the 6.5 Creedmoor. Came in a little bit later than I thought from the mail, but all we got to do left on this build is just a quick QC check on the headspace to make sure it's within spec so that we don't have any issues. If you don't have proper head spacing, you may not be able to feed the rounds. If it's underhead spaced, if it's overhead spaced, they probably won't go off. If they do, you could have some pressure or other weird issues. You want to make sure it's in spec, so the easiest and best way to do that is with the go and no-go gauges. So first we're going to insert the 6.5 Creedmoor go gauge, and as you'll notice, this kind of looks like the case profile of a cartridge without obviously the neck and the bullet. So the headspace is basically from the shoulder down to the base of the case. So we're going to go ahead and insert that in the chamber. If everything is good here, the bolt will close nicely, and it does. Grab that out, and now we're going to put the no-go gauge in, and the bolt will look like it's going to close, but the handle will not rotate all the way down. Oh, there we go, hard stop there. So as you can see, this was a very simple build. I think total time on the build itself, 20 minutes. Total time on finding and getting my headspace gauges, a couple days. But that just goes to show you that you can do some light gunsmithing work in your garage on your own with the pre-fit barrel technology and their guaranteed head spacing. Now what's next is to slap on a muzzle device of our choice and begin the fun process of load development. And guys, if you're buying quality barrels, load development is pretty easy, especially in common calibers like 6.5 Creedmoors. I'm probably going to start with a common bullet like a 140 grain Berger, H4350, and CCI 450 primers, and probably any load within reason that I throw at this thing is going to be a half minute or less. So I'm really excited to get into that and get this Team Sniper Match rifle build complete. So if you want to see the next step in the process as we take it out to the range, see how it prints on paper after some load development, go ahead and follow along. Got more videos like this coming up you're not going to want to miss. Appreciate you tuning in today, and we'll catch you next time on The Long Shot. Take care.